They won't understand why you're withdrawing, why you're packing up your energy, why you're quietly stepping away from everything familiar. But chosen one, heaven understands, because this isn't just a shift, it's a divine relocation, silent, strategic. You are not being moved out of fear, you're being moved by design. You're not being pulled away from people, you're being aligned with purpose. The world sees distance, but God sees destiny. And that's why your path is becoming unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, because comfort is the enemy of transformation. And you, chosen one, were never born for comfort. You were born for calling. You've outgrown the room you were placed in. Spiritually, emotionally, energetically, you've outgrown it. That's why the old circles feel foreign now. That's why certain people no longer reach you. You didn't change randomly. You ascended deliberately. The silence you feel around you is not abandonment. It's calibration. God is removing the noise so you can hear the next instruction clearly. Because what you're stepping into doesn't require approval, it requires obedience. And obedience often demands isolation. You are being positioned, not punished. What used to feel like home now feels like confinement. That's not coincidence, that's confirmation. You've completed a cycle. You've finished an assignment. But the shift is too sacred to announce. That's why your relocation is hidden, spiritual, unseen. The people who once celebrated you may now question you. Let them. They don't have the blueprint. They weren't given the map. This journey is encrypted. The details are classified. Because where you're going, only faith can follow. This isn't about relocation in the physical sense, only this is about elevation in the spirit. You'll start noticing how doors shut without warning, how certain places feel heavy now, how conversations drain you instead of inspiring you. That's the indicator. Your energy is being rerouted. Your presence is being protected. Not because you're better, but because you're becoming. Becoming what they can't manipulate. Becoming what they can't predict. Becoming what they feared you would, aligned. This season demands your withdrawal because your revelation is coming through solitude. It's in the quiet where you hear heaven. It's in the stillness where you sense movement. Don't resist the disconnection. It's divine. You're not being rejected. You're being redirected. People aren't falling away. They're being peeled off because your next chapter can't be written in the language of your past. You're shifting dimensions. God is moving you from familiar favor into unfamiliar faith, from seen results into unseen preparation. You won't be able to explain it, and you're not supposed to. Chosen ones walk by spiritual vision, not worldly validation. You don't need to make announcements. Let the results speak. Let the fruit expose the root. You were never meant to stay in one spiritual climate forever. It's a quiet exit, but a loud transition. You won't need closure. You won't need confirmation. You'll feel it, the call, the tug, the pull. Your soul will feel like it no longer fits in places where it once belonged. That's how you'll know it's time. The anointing on your life will no longer allow you to shrink. You've been patient, you've been humble, but now you're being summoned. And when heaven calls, you move, not with noise, not with explanation, but with obedience. Because when God is the one moving you, even your silence speaks. Some will think you've lost your mind, but you haven't. You've found your mission. You're not confused. You're being consecrated. You're not wandering. you're being rerouted. And sometimes the greatest clarity comes after the greatest confusion. You'll feel the tension of shedding the old while not yet stepping into the new. That in-between space, that sacred ground, that's where identity is redefined, where attachments are severed, where heaven whispers your next instruction. Wait there. Don't rush the birthing. Let God stretch you into the next version of you. You're being separated so you can be saturated with revelation, with wisdom, with fire. The type of fire that doesn't come from applause. It comes from the altar. And the altar is always built in isolation. That's why your calendar is suddenly clear. That's why your phone is quieter than usual. That's why your dreams are louder. God is filling the space others used to occupy because your dependency is being transferred. From people to purpose, from noise to knowing, from fear to faith. You're not just being moved, you're being transformed mid-motion, and it's happening faster than you thought. The signs are everywhere. Your tolerance is shrinking. Your discernment is sharpening. Your prayers are changing. That's how you know heaven is near. You're being pulled out of circles that couldn't see you, out of environments that couldn't hold you, out of patterns that couldn't contain you, because your presence carries too much weight now to be wasted. God is making room for you where none existed before. He's preparing people who've never met you to welcome you. He's unlocking places you've never been to receive you. But you must let go to rise. The warfare lately hasn't been random, it's been resistance. The enemy knows when you're about to level up. That's why distraction has increased, why confusion creeps in, why you second guess what you already know. But don't be fooled. The confusion is a sign that your clarity is coming. The pressure is a sign that your positioning is close. Don't negotiate with your old self just because it's familiar. Don't revisit what God already released you from. This next move must be pure, precise, undistracted. You're too close to destiny to detour now. You'll wake up one day and realize you don't even want the things you used to chase. That's the proof of growth. The things that once validated you will feel empty. That's the pruning. You're being detoxed from the old so you can digest the new. Don't panic when you feel alone. That's where the real power is activated. Chosen ones don't walk with crowds. They walk with calling. And sometimes calling looks like being overlooked, misunderstood, isolated. But don't worry, the spotlight will come. But by the time it does, you won't need it, because you'll already know who you are. You were never meant to be easily understood. You carry too much mystery, too much depth, too much light. The masses can't comprehend it, so God hides you in plain sight. You're being moved, but it won't look like elevation to others. Not at first. It may look like downsizing, like silence, like loss. But what feels like a fall is just God lowering the stage so He can raise the curtain. What looks like exile is actually expansion. You're not losing, you're being launched, quietly, strategically, on divine timing. You'll begin to feel yourself shedding layers of identity, of expectation, of roles you never asked to carry, because who you're becoming cannot be limited by who you've been. The shedding may feel like breaking, but it's actually birthing. Birthing a version of you that no longer apologizes for existing. A version that walks with fire, that moves with clarity, that speaks with spiritual authority. And you didn't earn this. You were chosen for it. The shifting you're feeling, it's not chaos. It's God realigning you with the assignment that was always written. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them assume. They weren't there in the private moments when God whispered the vision. They didn't see the nights you wrestled with destiny. They don't know the cost of your obedience. So stop explaining your silence. Stop justifying your distance. You're on sacred ground now. You're walking with God through corridors they can't see. And when the time comes, the move will make sense. The unveiling will shock them. But for you, it'll just be confirmation, because deep down, you already know you're not moving aimlessly. You're being navigated by the Spirit. Every closed door was calculated. Every delay was divine. Every goodbye was part of the blueprint. You're not behind. You're not off track. You're on heaven's clock. And this relocation, silent, swift, sacred, is about to place you exactly where you were always meant to be. Chosen one, stay quiet, stay faithful, and move when heaven moves. Because your next location isn't random, it's revelation.